Of the night, I will be holding you tight. Sweet destiny. So Gary Owen, he is getting a divorce. Gary Owen's a very funny white comedian. White, like white cake. It's a white cake, right? From Django. Okay, his wife has demanded $44,000 a month in alimony. $44,000 a month? $44,000? Holy shit. How about instead of you just picking on one individual private citizen, why don't you try to get universal basic income for the rest of us? Men are not afraid of marriage. They're afraid of divorce. $44,000 a month, is that it? Jesus Christ. If I had $44,000, I'd be set for life. And then with the price of lumber now, $60 per OSB board. It used to be like $12. $12 a board, up to $60. That's a 500% increase. That's a 500% increase. That's some Great Depression numbers. That's just a bunch of rich land and homeowners raking the new homeowners over the coals. Anyways. In the still of the night. So Chad, the republic, the presidential republic of Chad, is having some issues. This is a country, a nation state, a presidential republic in Africa. It's right at the top. It's one of the biggest countries in Africa, the world. Now, Chad's got a major problem because Chad has a dictator, or had a dictatorship, still has a dynasty, a dynastic dictatorship. But for 30 years, Chad had the same motherfucker, Idriss Deby, run Chad for 30 years, just like Belarus, just like Cameroon. And in Cameroon, we got U.S. troops in Cameroon, so that makes it look like we're supporting dictatorships. Belarus, the last dictatorship, they just kidnapped that. 30 years in power. That motherfucker in Belarus has been in power for 30 years. And then in Cameroon, Paul B has been in power for 30 years. And then Chad, that Idriss Deby has been in power for 30 years. Now, compare 30 to 12, right? FDR is the second greatest American president that we've ever had. And we gave him 3 terms, 12 years total. Well, Idriss Deby, sir, is no FDR by any stretch of the imagination. Now, his son is in power because Idriss Deby just got assassinated, just got killed like a month ago. So his son is in power. His son is Mahatma Deby, the Mahatma. So the Mahatma Deby. So Little Debbie is in power, right? Little Debbie the pipsqueak, Little Debbie the half pint. He's got a big old mole on his nose, and I like his beret. So Little Debbie is now in power. Big Debbie, Papa Debbie just got killed. So Baby Deby is now in power. So it's kind of crazy how, like, a Napoleon can even come into power. In a one-on-one bout, Napoleon would easily lose, just like Little Debbie. In a one-on-one bout, he would easily lose, yet he's the head of the armed forces. And they're going to call him an authoritarian strongman. You want to see a strongman? Look at Francis Ngannou. You want to see a strongman? Look at Derek the Black Beast Lewis. You want to see a stronger man than Idriss Deby? Then look at Little Reese in Chicago. At least he survived his shooting. Now, to give you an understanding of how big Chad actually is in Africa, it's huge. The population is 16 million. So compare this to the U.S. states. 16 million people are in Chad. That's more than Pennsylvania. That's more than Ohio. That's more than Illinois. Colorado has a little bit less than 6 million souls. So Chad is bigger than Colorado. New York has 19 million souls. So Chad is actually closer to the size, population-wise, to New York as it is Colorado. So, yeah, basically the same population as New York State, Chad. And then in terms of land area, that's population-wise, 16 million. In terms of land area, Chad is 500,000 square acres. 500,000 square acres, which is nearly twice as big as Texas, but smaller than Alaska. So, recently, the president of Chad was killed. He was assassinated. And isn't that freaking nuts? Isn't that freaking crazy? Nobody's talking about this. Imagine if the president of Russia or Britain was killed, or Canada, or Rhode Island. You'd think somebody would mention it. In fact, there's only been one governor who was ever assassinated in the United States, and that was 1900 Kentucky, William Justice Goebel. One of the best damn governors Kentucky's ever had, even though he's only in there for 3 days. So what's Idriss Deby? Idriss Deby, Big Deby, Big Daddy Deby. He was actually leading the military from the front, so he wanted to show that he was in control, right? But it could have been an inside job, some people say, but it's probably this FACT, F-A-C-T. There's a group called FACT, and Deby apparently took that FACT was about to take N'Djamena. It's actually pronounced just like it looks, N'Djamena, which is the capital, Chad. So N'Djamena, spelled N-D-J-A-M-E-N-A. N'Djamena. I guess that's where the ninjas go, right? So the ninjas all came from N'Djamena. Idriss Deby. So Idriss Deby, he's leading the military from the front, and then he just won his, sixth term election. He just won his election, and then he's going to get assassinated. He's going to get killed. Now, what's this have to do with America? What's this got to do with the United States? Well, this is a perfect opportunity for Emperor Barely Here Biden. This is a major opportunity for the Emperor because we can actually get them some democracy. We actually, for 6 elections, 6 bullshit elections, they've had totalitarian dictatorship. France has propped this Idriss Deby up for such a long time, and now his son's in charge, and then he dissolved the parliament or their assembly or whatever, their Congress. So they got 3 branches of government already. We can get them some referendum initiative recall, get them a big fat Bill of Rights in, some instant runoff voting. They have a presidential republic, but if they want a perfect presidential republic, then get yourself some instant runoff voting. Here in Colorado, we got referendum initiative recall. We got a big old fat Bill of Rights. We got 3 branches of government, but we don't have instant runoff voting. New York City right now in the mayoral's election is using instant runoff voting. So we could use this as an opportunity. There is a vacuum. There is a corrupt dictator who is running Chad. While many political parties participated in Chad's legislature, the National Assembly, power lied firmly in the hands of the Patriotic Salvation Movement during the presidency of Idriss Deby, who is an authoritarian. President Idriss Deby was killed by FACT rebels April 2021. The Transitional Military Council is now led by his son, Mohammed Deby assumed control of the government, dissolved the assembly. So they dissolved the assembly, the Congress. Why would the son just dissolve the entire government who was pro his papa? He was on the... So Chad's not doing great anyways in general. It's one of the least developed countries. It ranks the lowest in one of the lowest in the Human Development Index. It's one of the poorest. Most of its inhabitants, most of the people that live in Chad are either herders or farmers. And it's one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Now, FACT, this translates to English as the Front for Change and Concord in Chad. So the Front for Change and Concord. F-A-C-T, Front for Change and Concord in Chad. Okay, so where's the T? It's more like F-C-C-C, right? F-C-C-C-C-C-C. Nah, it's like a French word or some shit. But this group, FACT, we're just going to call it the FACT group, which is actually a brilliant acronym. There's a man named Ali, and he is the one that runs this group called FACT. And FACT are the ones who killed Idriss Deby. Now, they tried to overthrow him in 2016, so they've been trying to do this for 5 years. One of Chad's 2 key anti-Deby rebellions. FACT is one of 2. The other one is UFC or something. Not UFC, but so FACT has been amassing weapons and personnel in Libya since 2016. They've been building themselves up in Libya, and then they entered Chad April 11th, the day that Idriss Deby had actually won. Papa Deby didn't actually win any of those damned elections, but on his 6th term, he's going to, 30 years in power. The day after he won that election, he's going to get killed. Now, FACT's leader is Ali. Ali is alleged to have a non-aggression military pact with the renegade General Khalifa Haftar. Now, remember this name, Khalifa Haftar, because he's causing, some shit in Libya against the ruling government right then and there, but this is because of the wishes of Paris. This is because of France. So Libya's military strongman controls much of, this is Khalifa Haftar. He's Libya's military strongman. He controls much of Libya's east and has been trying to gain control of key oil fields as well as major cities in the south against the United Nations-backed national government in Tripoli. So 6 terms as president. He was elected. Get the fuck out of here. Now, you couldn't get more totalitarian, authoritarian than that. That's bullshit democracy. That's fake democracy. So the United Nations, the United States, we could actually get real democracy in there. You want to say, oh, what stability? You're going to put his son. You think that's going to keep? You think it's going to stay stable? They got protests actually. There was a whole bunch of protests today in Chad. So they're, with the agreement is that they're going to have elections in a year and a half from now. So next year, at the end of next year, is when there's supposed to be brand new elections. They're going to trust the the dynastic, totalitarian, fucking dictatorship, the authoritarian. Deby won with 79% of the vote. That's like Saddam Hussein, 79%. You're going to fucking cheat. You don't cheat that fucking bad. You win by like 1 or 2 fucking votes, but not by, well, it looks like the whole damn country is for this fucking Nazi. So the leading opposition figure in this last election this year, Salih Kebzabo. So Salih Kebzabo, he withdrew from the vote following a deadly shootout at another candidate's home. So another candidate got fucking killed. They got straight up fucking, and then the leading opposition figure is going to withdraw from the vote. So who the fuck even ran against this guy? They're just shooting up opposition candidates and letting these guys, this is, during previous elections, I'm sure there's infinite amounts, but here's Deby had forbade the citizens of Chad from making posts online. So you can't use the internet, can't use social media. They lifted those restrictions in 2019, but there's still some restrictions. So he's, controlling information. He's controlling the opposition. He came to power in a coup d'etat. His entire presidency has been illegitimate. He came to power in a coup d'etat, but France immediately gave him a bunch of money for the military, and then he's been basically, he conquered Chad, right, for 30 years. 6 presidential terms, 6 motherfucking presidential terms. This democracy in Chad is broken. It's non-existent. There is no fucking democracy in Chad. That's the opportunity for the United States of America, for the United Nations. Allow this piece of shit to go on for a year and a half. Look what they just did in Somalia. They just pushed that president and said, no, you got to have elections right now. So we could do the exact same thing in Chad. So this is an opportunity for the entire world. Let's get the people of Chad an actual democratic republic that, functions in their favor. Democracy is ruled by the people, and the people of Chad hasn't run jack shit for 30 years. So all of his elections are marred by fraud, intimidation, boycott, like the Salih Kebzabo. So yeah, hey, American Empire. You want to win some hearts and minds? A lot of people kind of pissed off about how kind of took over Iraq, and then you want to earn yourself some goodwill. You want to earn yourself some goodwill. You want to win some hearts and minds, and let's get Chad some motherfucking democracy, some actual true blue democracy, not this French propped up bullshit. Wasn't the Vietnam War started by French occupation? Yeah, abandon all hope, ye who enter here. If you all would have listened to me when it came to Belarus, right, they had an election, but that fucking strong-armed dictator, now they're, he just hijacked that plane to jail that journalist. There's a journalist that writes bad things about the president of Belarus, and they hijacked him while he was in the air. Belarus, and they said he had a bomb or something. They didn't find one, but they said, okay, so a fucking journalist, and he was trying to get the fuck up out of Dodge. So Belarus is the last dictatorship in Europe, but I tried to tell you motherfuckers, and now look, you're letting the dictatorship carry on. Paris is giving cover to Haftar. So that's Libya politics, but this is spilling out of Libya, right? So you have this fact group, Ali, not Muhammad, but that's how you spell it, Ali. Ali is running fact, and Haftar is the one that has a, you know, this non-military, whatever, non-aggression pact. So he's got cover, he's got some military protection. He was actually educated in France, but now France has, you know, stood by the ruling government since 1976, actually. So let's see. Whilst Tom relocated to Houston in the U.S., T. Maine, who is in exile in Qatar from where he has been remotely commanding his rebellion, first tried to overthrow his uncle in 2008 and again in 2009 after forming the UFR, and recently in 2019. So you got FACT and you got UFR. So both FACT and UFR have been trying to actively overthrow Idriss Deby. But on each one of these occasions with UFR in 2009, 2019, France comes to President Idriss Deby's rescue. They're, you know, Paris is firmly in the pocket of Papa Deby. Now, France has had a military cooperation agreement with Chad since 1976, so that's a 45-year alliance. 1976, France has backed Idriss Deby's dictatorship this entire goddamn time. So Qatar, which has backed Tamim's rebellion, leading Deby to sever relations and expelling its diplomats, is also providing cash and equipment to the United Nations-backed national government in Tripoli against Haftar. So Qatar doesn't like this shit at all. Qatar doesn't like Deby whatsoever. Perhaps most revealing of all, both Haftar and Deby are actually Paris's darling strongmen in the region. For France, Haftar's control of Libya's strategic eastern borders prevents influx of heavy weapons as well as fighters from Libya and further afield from joining jihadist groups attempting to overrun the Sahel, including Burkina Faso, northern Niger, northern Mali, as well as Chad itself. Motherfucking France. Yeah, Jesus Chad. Jesus Chad. And it's also crazy. Google Chad. You'll see, you know, a TV show and this and that. You won't find the country, one of the biggest, is it the biggest country? Is it the biggest country in Africa? It's one of the biggest countries in Africa, if not the biggest country. And it's Chad. It's one single fucking syllable. You couldn't memorize one single fucking syllable, and it's Chad. That's an English name. That's... Even if the U.S. empire doesn't get Chad some democracy, Chad could get itself some democracy. And that would be a better democracy from the ground up. So this is a major opportunity for, you know, the international community, for the West, for United Nations, U.S., whoever wants to actually do some good for another nation. This is also a major opportunity for Chad itself. So I'm not sure if Ali, if that FACT group, the person that actually killed the president, will take over Chad eventually or not. I'm not for sure if that's what's, you know, I have no idea what Ali is gunning for, but he's, you know, almost sacked, you know, whatever the capital is called. Nagano, what's it called? Nagana, Ninjamena, right, the ninjas, Ninjamena. So Ninjamena, they almost took Ninjamena, they almost took the capital of Chad. So, you know, if FACT ends up taking the capital of Chad, you know, from Baby Deby, then what kind of government are we going to have? They have a constitution, right? So they have like they got 3 branches of government. I'm not sure if they have referendum, initiative, and recall. Recall, right? They should have recalled Idriss Deby a long time ago, so I think they might have some ways but make those easier, make them better, right? Get a big old fat Bill of Rights, at least 50 freedoms, and preferential voting, ranked choice voting, instant runoff voting. If you want a perfect presidential republic, then implement yourself some instant runoff voting. So there you go. Chad is in an influx. There is a vacuum. It's people want to say, oh, you guys, you know, back the strong military that's still in power, what have you. They're illegitimate. They haven't been having real fucking elections. This is bullshit. You're going to make the young people of Chad wait a year and a half. They're right to be suspicious of you motherfuckers. African Union said, you know, a year and a half, and then that's it. No more terms after that. Can we trust the Baby Deby to, you know, he was in there for 30 years. Baby Deby's going to do the same shit for 30 years as a dictator, cheating everybody. No, it's going to be the same shit. A year and a half from now, you're going to make everybody wait, and then you're going to have the same exact situation, the same exact problems. So right now, you can, you know, just throw away the Constitution, just have, I don't know what to do, but I think that America could be on the right side of history, so for my country's sake, you know, we could be on the right side of history, but for the people of Chad need some democracy. They need to be empowered. Biggest country, 16 million people. They have all that oil. Oh, there's another thing. All that oil, huh? Oh, okay, France. I see where you're coming from. Fucking greedy ass, fucking raw material stealing sons of bitches. You know, France was cool with the revolution, but then Napoleon kind of fucked that all up. So I feel like 1700s, late 1700s, France was good, and then I'm not sure what did France do with itself after that, besides get us, you know, caught in Vietnam and all these other Vietnams that they're going to get us caught in Africa. Anyways, Chad, get yourself some democracy, okay? Instant runoff voting, big old fat Bill of Rights, referendum initiative, recall. You already got your 3 branches of government, so and a constitution, so you're doing better than England. Fucking England don't even have a constitution. So, there you go.